Thank you, Speaker, sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak on the budget exercise 2023-2024 titled To Dare and to Care. At the outset, I must say that this budget exercise is devoid of any thinking and measures that seek to achieve la relance. As a former civil servant, let me first start just like last year. The Honorable Herdoyal will recall, and probably the Honorable Toussaint as well. I started with the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Ministry of Civil Service, now called Public Service, Administrative and Institutional Reforms. The name makes the ministry sound like a very important one. In fact, it is a very important ministry, I've always said so. But as a former public officer, and like many of the 50,000 or so public officers, we were astonished to find out that not a single time during the whole of his discourse, the Honorable Minister of Finance has spoken about this ministry. Maybe this is why the Honorable Herdoyal is disappointed that he is not here. He was here last year at this time. We have heard about every nook and corner, every town and lots of villages of the country being mentioned in an attempt to woo votes, but nothing on the Ministry of Public Service. It is as if the Honorable Herdoyal has not at all had any consultative meeting with the Minister of Finance. And it is that the latter does not believe, or either it is that or the latter does not believe in the professionalization and empowerment of public officers. Very sad indeed. Secondly, as Director for International Relations of the Mauritius Labour Party, I have also noticed that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has not been mentioned at all. It is as if it's the professionalization of our diplomats for wealth creation of the country is no longer warranted. As a small island developing state with inherent vulnerabilities and challenges, the Minister of Finance has not deemed it appropriate to look at how our diplomacy could be re-engineered to address these challenges at a time when climate diplomacy is very important. As you know, we are asking a lot of money from the international community to adapt to climate change in Mauritius. The same goes for the ICT sector. There is no vision as to where the country is going in this domain. This is a promising sector for the youth. Over the weekend, I've come across a lot of debates on what could the beneficiaries of the 20,000 rupees under the adulthood scheme do with that money. The Honorable Ritish Ramphal, who spoke before me, is right. A purpose must be attributed to that investment. Well, one proposition of mine is to channel this sum of money to the further development of our youth in the ICT sector. It will go a long way in enhancing the further development, empowerment, and employability of our youth. Mr. Speaker, sir, my colleagues before me have amply spoken about the problem of galloping inflation rate. I'm not going to dwell on this again. Suffice it for me to say that it is a descent aux enfers for our people. This government has allowed inflation to propagate as a debilitating cancer in our country, and it has also been feeding this cancer with all its inflationary fiscal and monetary policies by printing money, it has been said before, spending recklessly, wasting public money on unproductive pet projects, which I'm going to dwell on later, and keeping petroleum prices at high level. All this has allowed this cancer to spread across all segments of the economy and affect every single Mauritian, robbing from us all our purchasing power and impoverishing us all while forcing us to hand over our hard-earned savings to the coffers of this expenditure-driven government. With this new budget, we are now treading dangerously towards a path that could make inflation chronic in our country, while our neighbors like Seychelles have already combated this economic evil that is inflation. When I say pet projects, the metro, or should I say the tram, is the one that comes to my mind first. Talking about trains, I, as Director of International Relations of the Labour Party, I wish to once again present my sincere condolences to the people of India for the tragic loss of lives and injury following the very severe accident involving Coromandel Express, Bengaluru-Howrah Express, and a goods train last Saturday morning, Mauritian time. This is in addition to the letter I've addressed to Her Excellency, the Indian High Commissioner, on Saturday itself. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Metro, whom the current government was dead against when we were in power, has made of Quatre-Bornes today a dead city, cutting the old and the new Quatre-Bornes along Saint-Jean Street because it runs at ground level and not overhead like the Labour Party had planned it to be. So much so that now, in order to compensate those businesses and shops that are no longer able to work, an urban terminal is being envisaged there as well. And now at paragraph 192, as part of the so-called public transport decarbonization program, the Metro is being further extended to connect Saint-Pierre and La Vigie by October 2024. But what the Honourable Minister of Finance has not said in his discourse is that the Metro is not going to Côte d'Or anymore. The Metro is not going to Côte d'Or anymore. It is going to Saint-Pierre, and from Saint-Pierre, it is going to La Vigie. Am I right? This is what the press has been reporting the Prime Minister saying. No, we need clarity on this, Mr. Speaker, sir, because we are being asked to vote Mohamedi. Le PM a également évoqué l'extension du métro et le tracé de réduit à Saint-Pierre, et non pas à Côte d'Or, qui serait à réaliser plus tard. I can table it. The metro is no longer going to Côte d'Or, following persistent questions that have been asked in Parliament, saying that going to Côte d'Or is a suicide financier. So admit it. It cannot go to Côte d'Or because there is nothing in Côte d'Or.
So,
yes.
You're asking...
No. I'm not asking a question. No.
Make your point. You're talking to me.
No, because the Minister of
Don't
Finance...
look at them. Look at me. I'm protecting you.
Okay.
I am your savior.
No, the Minister of Finance is denying. So we have to be clear.
Refuter ce qu'il vient de dire. J'ai refuté simplement, il vient de dire qu'on va faire de Saint-Pierre jusqu'à la Vigie. C'est pas ça. Je réexplique, peut-être qu'il n'a pas compris. Ça va s'arrêter à Saint-Pierre et puis de Cuapip jusqu'à la Vigie. C'est écrit dans le budget. Merci, monsieur.
This is what the press has reported. But anyway, but why now? But why now through the forest and woods of La Vigie? I question. Has a feasibility study and an environmental study been done for this sudden proposal? Is this what the Minister of Finance called transport decarbonization program? Come on. This makes me think how the British people fought to preserve woods and wetlands in the Clone Valley in 2020 when the authorities wanted to extend the HS2 railway project there. It is a very sad matter that I have to say on World Environment Day today, which is being celebrated today, that I think the Honourable Minister, Kamil Ramano, went for an award ceremony today. We were all invited for this. Well, I hope not that the CB and the Metro Express have won awards, because the Mauritian metro system is perhaps the most polluting in the world, because its electricity is produced from fossil fuel, mostly coal. And not the CB as well, because, much has been said about renewable energy. Our renewable energy level today, Mr. Speaker, sir, when the Prime Minister has announced at COP26 that we want to be 60% by 2030, meaning 7 years from now, our renewable energy level is at its lowest level ever, at 17.4%. I do remember when I was in office in 2013, we had presented a paper to Cabinet, it was 23.4%. So this government has only made it go down when in fact it is promising that it is going to go up. We have a problem of engagement with the international community. So And then, you know, pour la ligne Rosil réduit, je dois dire maintenant que c'est un suicide écologique aussi. Et le Premier ministre, il est au courant de cette situation. Écoutez ce qu'il a dit sur le métro immédiatement après la présentation du budget, vendredi dernier. Évidemment, la ligne réduite à Saint-Pierre n'est pas pour rentable immédiatement. Il peut prendre quelques années. Quelques années. This is what the Prime Minister said. Mais il y a deux choses que le Premier ministre ne dit pas. C'est quand et comment feront-ils pour que le tram mauricien devienne rentable sur cette ligne. Mr. Speaker, sir, this budget exercise has brought to limelight another pet project in the making at paragraph 175, and that is the creation of a vibrant mini forest at the center of our capital city with the pulling down of the Emmanuel Arctil building. Now, this joke is happening in my constituency, in the same street as the Champ de Mars, where green spaces are being sacrificed for the construction of an empty car park some time back under this government, and lately casinos, open discotheques, and horse stables, and we all know by whom, right? Since Friday, I've been wondering where this idea emanated from. After having called a few friends in the civil service on Sunday morning, I could lay my hand on a 120-page report, final draft report of 28th August 2014, meaning during the Labour Party days, undertaken by my then parent ministry, by my employer, Minister of Public Infrastructure, was then my Minister of Public Infrastructure. And that report is here, Mr. Speaker, sir. It's titled Feasibility Study for the Refurbishment and Conversion of the Emmanuel Arctil building into an eco-building. Final draft dated 28th August 2014 by Design Forum and Architectural Firm, together with several other professionals. Now, the report is here. If need be, I can table it, but I don't think it's warranted because it should be at the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. Now, allow me to quote from the executive summary of the report. It's a very thick report, 120-pager, and I quote, various options of refurbishment and conversion to an eco-building have been proposed. They can be grouped into several categories. Firstly, general basic renovation program to replace all unused building components. Secondly, options which will affect the space layout and in particular which would increase the useful areas. Number three, options related to the change and or improvement of the building envelope. And number four, options related to the building services. Now, very importantly, in the executive summary itself it is stated, alternative considered was the demolition and reconstruction of the facility. This tear-off program is not considered to be durable, sustainable, or secure. This is what the professionals say. And the cost, it goes further, it says the cost of the basic renovation program is estimated to be in the range of 380 million rupees in 2014. All right? A few months before the general elections. By the time the draft report was finalized, the MSM was in government, and for the last 8 years, nothing has been done except for piecemeal interventions with no clear vision, and now the minister is saying that the building needs to be pulled down? Come on. This government is going against the recommendation of the 2014 report. Is the minister in the presence of any report that says that the building is no longer structurally sound? I question. Now, if you want to know what I mean by piecemeal intervention, Mr. Speaker, sir, I will have to kindly refer you to page 82 of the Public Sector Investment Program for this year, prepared by the Minister of Finance and his team himself. Now, you will see that at page 82, under the heading Consolidated Fund, National Infrastructure, item C0612, refurbishment of Emmanuel Arctil building, page 82. Several projects have been submitted. Replacement of transformers, supply and installation of green generator, installation of fire detection and alarm system at Emmanuel Oxy Building. I'm all referring to Emmanuel Oxy Building. Refurbishment of the electrical system, minor repair works at Emmanuel Oxy Building, waterproofing works, firefighting, renovation. There is one item that will make you laugh, Mr. Speaker, sir. It is called renovation of Emmanuel Oxy Building. And you know when the consultancy exercise is supposed to start? This year. We are being asked to vote for consultancy services by the same Minister of Finance for a building that he wants to pull down. Can you believe this? The level of amateurism? If no one believes me, it's here. You can check it for yourself. We are being asked to vote for 171.06 million rupees worth of projects for the Emmanuel Oxy Building. That same building that the Minister of Finance wants to pull down, including consultancy for its refurbishment. This is a joke. Anyway, I think he will have time to think about it later. Yes?
You remove that word, fraud. You are doing very well. Remove that word and continue.
Which word?
Fraud.
The joke? Okay. Joke is unparliamentary.
Continue.
Okay. Okay. You know, Mr. Speaker, sir. Okay, it makes me laugh. That I can say. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you go there, you will see that the Civil Status Office has just renovated a first-class marriage hall there. And now we are going to pull down this building. But behind all this, one must look at this planned destruction of this building with a critical eye, because it could hide a totally different story, like the need to go and occupy empty buildings, des petits copains, who are having trouble finding tenants, especially those who are indebted to the banks. Unless, like some of the most vociferous of critics are saying on social media, everybody can go and read about it, that the SunTrust itself, which is ready to welcome ministries, departments, and other parastatal bodies.
No, this is imputing motives.
Okay, I will. Okay, if asbestos partitioning was the real problem, then the government could have renovated. I will invite you, the Honourable Minister of Finance, to go and visit the Civil Status Office. They have removed all the asbestos partitioning. And today we have a very nice office there. I can tell you it's a very, very nice office. And you want to pull this down? Come on. Now, to my view, I'm not an expert, the asset value of the Emmanuel Oxy Building today where it stands, unless there is a report that says that it is not structurally sound, runs into several billions of rupees. I hope the Minister of Finance will enlighten us in his final expose. But anyway, I will ask questions on this in Parliament. You can rest assured about it. Now, let me turn to a sector that I've been following closely as a former officer in charge of the housing unit at the Ministry of Housing and Lands, and also former managing director of the NSDC. I've been constant in the following points that I've already elaborated either in press conferences or in newspapers, albeit an updated version. It is very important that these observations be in Hansard for reference sake, as I foresee major problems in the future. Pas dire, pas dire. Monsieur le Président, l'une des promesses de l'Alliance MSM-ML était de faire construire 12 000 logements sociaux. D'ailleurs, c'est une des mesures phares du premier budget présenté par l'honorable Padayachi. La réalisation de cette promesse a été retardée et le nombre de maisons a été réduit à 8 000, comme le ministre des Finances l'a annoncé lui-même dans son discours vendredi dernier. Mais ce qu'il ne dit pas, c'est qu'il y a eu entre-temps une grosse augmentation des coûts, car initialement, 12 000 logements allaient coûter 12 milliards de roupies, c'est-à-dire 1 million de roupies par logement, par unité, mais maintenant l'unité coûtera 2,7 millions de roupies, au coût total de 21,6 milliards de roupies. Grand projet. beaucoup d'argent. Et ce 21,6 milliards de roupies, peut-être, sera 3 fois ou 4 fois si on prend en compte plus qu'il avait présenté initialement, si on prend en considération le fait que dans ce budget, provision a été faite pour exempter les contracteurs qui entreprendront ces travaux de tout TVA, les droits de douane, les droits d'assises sur les matériaux, les travaux et même les frais pour les consultants. Plus que 3 fois. Le drame dans toute cette affaire, ce n'est pas l'épidémie qui a retardé le projet, ce qui a emmené le quadruplement de coûts. Nous sommes tous au courant que pendant le Covid, le gouvernement a continué la construction de plusieurs projets, dont celui du métro. Le retard dans le démarrage de ce projet est le résultat de l'incompétence de la NSLD, dont la direction et une grosse partie des cadres sont des nominés politiques qui ne maîtrisent pas les règles de base de la construction. Les consultants qui ont travaillé avec la NSLD sur ce projet se disent surpris par son niveau d'incompétence et d'amateurisme. Tant bien que mal que ces consultants ont accouché des projets qui comprennent des unités de logements sociaux avec ascenseur au coût de 6 à 8 millions de roupies par unité, qui ont été tous rejetés par la NSLD au début de l'année, après avoir payé 300 millions de roupies pour le travail rejeté. Le tout en catimini jusqu'à ce que j'ai posé des questions au Parlement. La faute réside dans le degré d'incompétence et d'amateurisme des cadres de la direction de la NSLD. Par ailleurs, du fait de cette incompétence, les documents de base, le scope of work, ont été mal préparés et visés, ce qui ouvre la porte à toutes sortes de réclamations additionnelles. D'ailleurs, j'ai une question parlementaire à ce sujet demain. Allez savoir maintenant, est-ce que ces documents ont été mal préparés, par inexpérience ou par exprès? La préparation des contrats de construction est un domaine extrêmement technique, ce qui explique la multiplication des litiges. La moindre erreur se paye par des dizaines de millions de roupies et dans le cas qui nous occupe des fonds publics. Pas de complaisance dans les procédures quand les fonds publics sont en jeu. C'est exactement ce que la Independent Review Panel a dit la semaine dernière en mettant fin à un contrat de 103 millions de roupies qu'a alloué la NHDC pour compléter les travaux restants aux contracteurs Union Allied Contractors pour les projets de 83 unités de logement de la NHDC de Mar-d'Albert, qui était le sujet de ma question parlementaire B643 du mardi 23 mai 2023, donc 2 semaines de cela. Après que le contracteur initial du projet a obtenu la somme de 75 millions de roupies, après avoir déclaré litige avec la NHDC. Il y a un autre cas similaire, celui de Bassin, avec quelques dizaines de millions de roupies payés au même contracteur. Et vous savez, Monsieur le Président, la IRC a été très critique envers le Bid Evaluation Committee de la NHDC. Incohérence, allégation de favoritisme et plusieurs autres reproches sont les points forts qui sont ressortis de la communication de la IRP. Mais plus important, c'est la mention que la IRP a l'effet qu'une des...
The report of the IOC is there. It's in the public. Now you are discussing
It's not.
budget.
It's not in the...
Relate your speech to the budget.
No, it's not in the public.
It is. This has been in the news everywhere.
Okay.
So don't lose time. Don't
oui.
lose your precious time.
But I want to make,
commenting on
but
something.
I want to make an important point.
Go to the budget.
Yeah, but this is we are talking about public funds. Now, le plus important, c'est la mention à l'effet qu'une des raisons de la mise à la fin du contrat de 103 millions à Union Allied Contractors est que le fait que cette compagnie n'a pas soumis ses comptes. Les membres de cette Chambre se souviendront que quand le gouvernement avait pris la décision d'accorder une avance de 25% sur le prix de chaque construction au contracteur, contrairement aux 10% habituels, j'avais souligné qu'avant l'attribution des contrats, il fallait connaître l'état de la situation financière des contracteurs pour éviter des mauvaises surprises. D'autant plus que plusieurs contracteurs retenus n'étaient pas en règle avec le Register of Companies quant à la soumission de leur bilan financier, les spécifications bancaires et les assurances. Parmi un des 14 contracteurs, il y avait un qui a obtenu une part du lion, qui avait des problèmes non seulement avec sa banque, mais même avec les fournisseurs de matériaux. Et puisqu'on parle de budget, je dois ajouter qu'il y a 3 ans, le ministère du Logement a créé la NSLD un organisme qui fait exactement le même travail de la NHDC, à la différence que le dernier organisme cité a une solide expérience de domaine de la construction. La NSLD, que le ministre du Logement avait décrit comme étant un Special Purpose Vehicle pour lever des fonds pour la construction des logements sociaux, dispose d'un budget de fonctionnement d'environ 70 millions d'euros par an, sans qu'aucun fonds ait été soulevé jusqu'à présent. Depuis qu'il existe, cet organisme n'a rien produit de conséquent, si ce n'est qu'il a puisé 300 millions d'euros des caisses de l'État pour payer les consultants engagés pour dessiner les plans de logements sociaux qui ont été rejetés. No, this is no, Speaker, sir. This is a
This information you are giving has already been given in the House.
No.
I've heard this debate, speech.
Many
members have spoken.
I want to.
Please. I'm paid for my work. Please.
What?
So, you speak on the budget, please.
Yeah, but I want to keep it in record, because we are talking about 21.6 billion rupees for housing units for 8,000 families of this country.
Yeah, go ahead on this.
Thank you. Et quitte à la promesse du gouvernement de construire 8 000 maisons pour ceux qui se trouvent au bas de l'échelle. Auparavant, c'était 600 maisons par circonscription. Si je prends ma propre circonscription, la circonscription numéro 2, qui comprend les régions de Vallée-Pitou, Trangbar, Ward 4 et une partie de la Plaine Verte, j'avais questionné le ministre Obikadou où ces 600 maisons seront construites pour eux. Il avait alors répondu au Ward 4, à Vallée-Pitou, à Bell Village et à Arsenal. Les 3 premiers n'étant plus dans la liste des sites alloués aux contracteurs, il ne reste plus que le site d'Arsenal pour la circonscription numéro 2. Alors, je veillerai certainement au gré que mes mandats aient au moins 400 maisons qui leur seront dédiées éventuellement. Monsieur le Président, la vitesse avec laquelle le gouvernement va avec ce projet me fait craindre une accumulation de problèmes dans le futur. Et là, on entend parler que les contracteurs ont le choix de choisir leur propre technologie. Et on entend que certains contracteurs envisagent des technologies dites monolithiques. Alors là, je dirais au ministre des Finances et à son collègue du ministre du Logement, faites bien attention. Parce que dans le passé, il y a eu ce genre de construction et il y a eu beaucoup de problèmes. Et si dans l'empressement, on va avec des technologies qui ne sont pas appropriées pour le pays, c'est les bénéficiaires qui éventuellement auront des problèmes. Alors, et maintenant, les maisons de 600 mètres carrés sont destinées à des familles low income. Et 60 mètres carrés, c'est 600 pieds carrés. They are destined for people of the lower rungs of the ladder. And the minimum salary today is 15,000 rupees. You know, there is a rule of thumb. You keep 1/3 for loan reimbursement for families of the lower rungs of the ladder. But how will a family with 5,000 rupees per month able to service a loan of 900,000 rupees, because the house is going to cost 2.7 million rupees and 1 million rupees is being given by the government as subsidy. It is impossible. It is impossible for a family earning minimum salary to be able to afford a housing unit to be constructed by the NHDC. So my thinking is it will be eventually for the middle income earners. And we are going into a catch-22, because middle income earners will not benefit 2/3 subsidy. They're going to benefit much less. And whether a 60 meter square apartment will appeal to that category of families is questionable. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm not too sure how much time do I... Oui. 12? But you told me 10 minutes earlier. But no, I was reading fast because she told me I was left with 10 minutes. Anyway.
Don't rely on her.
Yeah.
Very unreliable.
So that is why I was reading fast. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I read very fast because I was told I was left 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes ago. So, there are other possibilities that could be offered to families. Right now in the country, with the construction of the 8,000 housing units, of course, the contractors being given that they are being given 25% advance payment. The Honorable Nakshidi will know what I'm talking about. He's a quantity surveyor. All contractors will tend to neglect all projects that they have ongoing to go for construction of social houses. This will create one problem in the country. And the problem is families who are constructing their own homes will not have workers to do it for them. The private sector buildings will suffer. And also the projects for which the Economic Development Board has been going overseas to promote, like the IRSs, will have certain issues. And also there will be not enough material maybe in the country and equipment. But it is good to construct social housing units. But the formula, is it the right one or not? This is what I'm trying to put forward today to the Honorable Minister of Finance. Families sometimes, maybe they will be better off if the land that has been made available, many of these land, were from the Labour Party days, because Dr. Navin Ramgoolam had negotiated 2,000 arpents from the sugar industry landowners. Dr. Arvin Boulel will remember, he was Minister of Agro-Industry at that time. These land, they are here, they are in the land bank. One possibility is to parcel off that land into morcellement of 55,000 twice, called sites and services, and you give these families prototype plans for them to construct. And if you give them that plot of land, they will feel somehow the need to empower themselves with self-help. And they can construct their house au fur et à mesure, selon leurs moyens. And if government accompany them with the casting of roof slab scheme, it's already a lot already. So this proposition of sites and services in good locations can be very appealing to families, and this will reduce the burden of subsidy on government. This is my thinking. So I would invite the Honourable Minister of Finance today. I know he has mentioned that contracts for all 14 contractors, meaning 39 sites, 8,000 units have been allocated. So today I have the following questions for him to make sure that these companies have submitted their bilan financier. I've kept on saying it in Parliament. Otherwise, we are not secure, the public funds are not secured enough. Secondly, whether the technology that these contractors will employ is according to our requirement here in terms of climate, being given we are a cyclonic country as well, and whether the effect that this whole construction will have on the economy as a whole has been taken into consideration. I was privileged to be part of a committee in the past at the Prime Minister's office when Mr. Suresh Shibalak was head of civil service and secretary to cabinet. Together with the actual finance secretary, the Honourable Minister can go and ask him, Mr. Dave Manraj. We used to look at projects at macro level so that everything goes on smoothly. So I believe this must be looked from a bird's eye view so that the country and the beneficiaries do not suffer. Now, I've also thought of saying that make sure that the NSLD will be able to sell those housing units to deserving families eventually. Because there are 30,000 families who are on the waiting list, and some of them have been waiting for 20 years, that first come, first serve, first registered, first serve, and deserving families are given a housing unit first, and that there is no favoritism in the allocation of housing units, because many of the low-income families will not be able to afford a housing unit. 5 minutes? Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, lastly, the government is relying on three things to go for the next election. The first one is 13,500 rupees pension. We've heard about it time and again. I believe my colleagues have spoken about it a lot and will continue to speak about it. Secondly, the metro going to Côte d'Or was a big announcement in the past, 13.5 billion rupees. Now it is going only to Saint-Pierre, and we need to know how much this will cost, and who is going to construct it, and what are the number of stations. I hope details will be provided, because we will surely be asked to vote for money for this. And it's no longer going to Côte d'Or, it's going to La Vigie from QPIP. We need to know what are the implications of this insofar as the environment is concerned, and the demand there is in La Vigie. I don't know the place well, but it has to be. If you look at the metro today, from Rosehill going to Redry, I live there. I can see the metro every day. On Sunday morning, it starts at sunrise, there's no passenger. Until sunset, there's no passenger. On Saturday and Sundays, there are no passengers at all in that metro line. So much so, to save embarrassment, the driver of that train, he switched off the light at night in the train, so that nobody can know that there's no passengers in the train. No, I'm not joking. No, I'm not joking. I live there, I know. I can see it from my window.
They think you're joking, you see.
You know,
Your friends think you're joking.
No, if members do not believe me, initially the lights were on and everybody could see.
That was a good joke.
Yeah. No.
Continue.
Yeah. No. Now, how this costed you and me, taxpayers, 4.5 billion rupees. And it's empty. So this is the second one. And the 12,000 housing units, Mr. Speaker, sir, which were initially made for the low-income families, have become 8,000 housing units for the middle-income families. But the question is whether the 8,000 middle-income families will like this apartment of 60 meters square, because their aspirations may be something else, and the price that they are going to pay is not known yet, unlike those for the low-income families, which are sure to pay 900,000 rupees. So these were the few observations that I had to make on the budget. Thank you.